suburbs of Mariupol: Мирний, Волонтерівка, Троїцький, Первомайськ, Виноградне, Приморське, Сопине. The territory of Mariupol and other administrative units of Donetsk region do not fall under the regime restrictions. These regime restrictions are not the curfew and do not restrict the rights of citizens which are maintaining to these rules. Again, I would like to mention that these restrictions act on the territory and within the limits of Pershatravnevo, Novazovsky, and Telmanovsky district of Donetsk Oblast, and not administrative territory of Mariupol and other regions of Donetsk district. More detailed information you can get on the website of Mariupol City Council and in the call center at the numbers 097-441-4287, 093-767-6650, 09514-997, and 0629-33331. And email is oboronamariupol@gmail.com. The counterintelligence of the Security Service of Ukraine liquidated the group which grouped in Drushkivka of Donetsk region as a punitive body of terroristic organization of Donetsk People's Republic, were kidnapping, were torturing and shooting local citizens. One more bandit is detained from this group, the local citizen. The investigators found out that this criminal personally killed 3 citizens. Before killing, he took his victims to the forest and was torturing them and then killed. The day before, the Security Service of Ukraine detained another bandit from this band, 24-year-old citizen of Drushkivka, who was also shooting people. For the National Guard of Ukraine, the state enterprise plant named after Malasheva that is manufacturing armored equipment in Ukraine sent the tanks T-64 BV-1. The equipment was ordered by the commandership of the National Guards and is to equip the units which participate in the military actions in ATO. According to the resolution of the Cabinet of Ministers, this equipment will be transferred to the law enforcement bodies to participate in ATO. In Russian society, there is dissatisfaction with the actions of Russian authorities because there's a lot of information about the killings in Ukraine of perishing in Ukraine, big number of Russian military. Especially people are angry because the Russian civil servants continue to negate the presence of Russian troops in the territory of Ukraine. At the same time, according to the data of the intelligence of the territory of Ukraine, about 2,000 Russian military were killed and about 8,000 were wounded. According to the data, these people served in 18 units of the armed forces of Russian Federation from more than 10 regions of Ukraine. ATO forces will continue to fix the facts of Russian presence. This information will be publicized as soon as we get it. At the instructions of the President of Ukraine, the State Border Service prepared the action plan as to building the Ukrainian-Russian border fortifications and administrative border with the Republic of Crimea. The document includes the measures on engineering constructions at the border, resumal of the cross points, and building and improving of the legal regulation of the issues of border protection. The works have started already. The video you can get immediately after briefing. On the 5th of September, the plan was approved by the decision of the Cabinet of Ministers, and on the 10th of September was considered at the expanded meeting of the government. The execution of the project will take place in two stages. The first stage will be the sectors which are located beyond the zone of active military actions within Chernigivska, Sumska, and Kharkivska districts, and also Donetsk and Lugansk, the part of administrative border with Administrative Republic of Crimea, the coast of Azov Sea, and also along the second line of defense. At the second stage, after disarmament of illegal formations and renewal the line of border, the rest of the sections within Donetsk and Lugansk regions will be constructed. The engineering constructions will include the earth and the concrete ramparts, control sections, the systems of optical electronic observation, signalization sets, fortification, constructions to make it impossible for the troops to get in there. According to the plan, the special equipment, the means of control and fixing violations, the systems of control of the situation in the Azov Sea will be supplied. Most of these measures, most of this equipment is of Ukrainian manufacture. The financing of this action plan will be exercised from the budget. The money beyond the budget and the money from international technical assistance. This plan will be executed during 2014-15. In Yalta, in the south of Donetsk Oblast, the representatives of pro-Russian Cossacks started to be very active. They are scaring local citizens. The law enforcement bodies take measures to stop activities of these pro-Russian groups. During the day, the units of the Emergency Service of Ukraine detected and made and diffused 86 units of ammunition, out of them artillery cartridges 5, mines 3, and grenades and mines 7. 2 administrative buildings and the territory of 5.5 hectares were examined. From the beginning of works, from the 6th of July 2014, 18,111 units of ammunition were detected and made safe. 841 persons, out of them 727 children, asked for medical assistance in the regions of Ukraine and in the city of Kiev. And these are people who moved from Lugansk and Donetsk regions. During this day, the women who moved from eastern parts of Ukraine gave birth to 11 babies, and also 286 adults and 158 children were hospitalized.
Do you have facts that new columns of Russian armored vehicles come into Ukraine? And Strelkov Kirkin, who is quite known, he gives interviews in Moscow, and he tells the stories he witnessed. Is there a way of how to arrest those people who killed hundreds of people? Nobody will run away from responsibility. Our prosecution has started cases, and now they run investigation. And this person that you named is not outside of attention of our prosecution. As to the movement of armored vehicles through the border from Russia, I guess you think about that equipment, that those vehicles that our border guards informed you about, but that's old information. We observe that they are active on that border, which we don't control. So we monitor equipment coming or vehicles coming and coming in and out. There is movement in and out, so we cannot tell you numbers. I cannot give you numbers, and I guess tomorrow morning we will have information from our intelligence, and I will inform you about that. As to the new map, that part which is in gray, which is under control of terrorists, and that part of the border in red, how did it happen in a day that they took it? Does it mean that Ukrainian armed forces withdrew? Were there attacks? How many kilometers do they control? We finished the practice of leaving our units at some places that are surrounded quickly, so we made a decision to build one line, front line, and we took away some military men who were holding positions there. That's why the map you see means this is the line on which we are standing, and we build fortifications there. So we have one line of defense now, which excludes any surrounding. And so there is no need to save anyone. So as I understand, on that map in gray, we don't have our armed forces. How many kilometers of our border we don't control? More than 100.
Перекладач. Запитання від Deutsche Welle.
Yes, Simon Young, Deutsche Welle. Just talking about the border defences that you showed, can you explain where that process of building the new border defence has begun? And can you also say if this border defence it really can stand up to a military assault, or will it need to be mined? Will it need to be defended by military units as well?
Thank you for the question.
We don't give concrete places. I cannot inform you about where our units are there. We have a lot of equipment there. We have there are also minefields, and we have fortifications against tanks. That line is. We pulled up some additional forces. I don't want to inform you about that, but there will be enough to hold if there is an effort of terrorists supported by Russian Federation. As I understand that Yalta that you mentioned, that is under control of ATO, and that's where Cossacks threaten local people. Have you arrested anyone? Is anyone arrested? I speak about cases we know about, and I don't inform you about facts of detainment. And if there will be such a fact, I will inform you about. You know, when someone is detained, there is no need to inform you about that right away. We will collect information from them, and then we'll inform you about that. As to movement of Russian vehicles, armored vehicles, we were informed that 100 Russian vehicles, some of the vehicles moved from Izvarino to Izvarino. You also speak that they withdraw. Do you mean those 10 trucks that you told us about in the morning? We receive information from our border guards. So the entry of that column is old, and we have information that armored vehicles left from Ukraine to Russia. And I don't inform you about the number. Where do they move that armored vehicles? Do you see that red line along our border? There are 3 border crossing points that that are not under our control. There are highways, or there are roads there, good for vehicles, for armored vehicles. You know, you cannot send armored vehicles anywhere. You need special roads for them. It's near Novozovsk, and here is Vareno. Those are the biggest gates to Ukraine, and through those gates terrorists receive heavy vehicles, armored vehicles from Russian Federation. And also, that's the way out also. What about the situation in Donetsk? Because we received information that there is shell in there. Yes, we have information about that. We don't, it's not analyzed, so we get it from different sources. They inform us, we have to analyze before we give that information to you. What about people, civilians? Can they leave the city? If you can leave, if there is no shell in there. Any question? No question. Thank you very much. Next briefing will be tomorrow at 12:30. The day is over. Thank you very much. This is the end.